Hey, what's up my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to talk about sleep paralysis and how it's actually a good thing, because only one type of person experiences sleep paralysis, and that is a highly conscious person. One of my subscribers asked me the other day, they said, Vic, I'm freaking out, man. Every time I go to sleep, I'm having this sleep paralysis. I'm sleeping with the lights on, and I'm 20 years old. I'm not a little kid, and yet I'm terrified because I don't know what's happening to me. It seems like she's being haunted, just from, it's like life is haunting her. She's awakened to the dark side of life, and she doesn't know what to do. There's nowhere to turn. And initially, I wasn't going to answer this question because I have made videos somewhat on this topic before. But just out of curiosity, I typed into YouTube sleep paralysis, and so many of the videos are just exacerbating the fear, like 12 terrifying facts about sleep paralysis. All these like the top videos are very, very fear-based, and that is not in my experience what sleep paralysis represents. It's an opportunity. It's a very positive sign that, and there's a lot of you can do a lot of really fun things with it. For one, I'll talk about this briefly. It's really easy to stop. It's easy to put an end to if that's what your main concern is. You're freaking out. But secondly, I'm going to invite you to kind of consider the opportunity that exists if you're having sleep paralysis, because it's a chance to. Sleep paralysis, if you guys don't know, I'll kind of give you I'll briefly tell you about one of the more notable times I had this, and then I'll explain to you what it actually is. So, a lot of people, I had it when I was a little kid, but it was more, now that I'm older, it's sort of a faint memory. But there was one time that comes to mind when I was 17 years old, like a senior in high school, and I woke up, or I thought I woke up. That's kind of what sleep paralysis is. You feel like you've woken up, but you're still in the dream state. But your dream state is just like where you left off. You're in your bedroom, you're in your bed, but you're not all the way awake yet. So I woke up and I was laying kind of on my stomach with my head like this, like I sleep, on my pillow, and I could sense with 100% clarity, this is not in my imagination, I knew, I could feel, I could sense the presence of some sort of malevolent being on my back, with like a creepy ass intent. I could just feel it. It was undeniable. And just the knowing there's some freaky ass thing on my back was just horrifying. But the nature of sleep paralysis oftentimes is you can't move. You can't scream. You're stuck to endure whatever the hell is going on. It can get a lot creepier than that. And eventually I forced myself awake, like usually you eventually do, obviously. And I ran into my parents' room at 17 years old. I ran in there. I wanted my mommy. I was like, something just happened, guys. I can't believe. It freaked me out. But I brought this up to my friends later when I went to school the next day, and I could just tell, like, no one really, they were like, they dismissed it. No one seems to have gone through that. And that made me feel even worse. Like, wow, something really big and scary had happened to me. It's not happening to other people. What the hell am I going to do about it? And then, it kind of maybe came and went for a little while, but once I really started getting more involved in my spirituality, I went through a phase where it happened in a very hardcore way, where it was beyond sleep paralysis. It was like I was being haunted by negative entities. It's the way I would honestly put it. Whether that's actually what was happening or it's just my fears projected in a very real way, I don't know. Regardless, the experience was freaking terrifying. And just like this poor girl, I had the same thing where I was afraid to go to sleep. Every time I went to sleep, it was more, I was met with these scary negative astral entities, and they would haunt me and scare the crap out of me. And not only that, I just felt the darkness was looming around in my reality. And I didn't know what to do. What does one do in this situation? So here's what I did, which worked beautifully, and I'll share it with you right now. Like many of you, when you're panicked, when you don't know what to do, you go online and you Google something. I went on YouTube actually, and there was this young kid, and he just sort of was explaining in his own way exactly what I was going through. He said he was too. There was a time where he was getting picked on by these negative astral entities and having the whole sleep paralysis thing. And he said that what he ended up doing was standing up to them. And eventually he went into the story where he threw one out the window. And that just like, it just stuck in my mind, like, oh, okay. So that next time it happened, I had that same mindset. I had woken up. It was a false wake up where I was still, I knew I was dreaming, and yet I was in my room, and I knew it was a matter of time before the negative beings popped out at me, as they always did. Sometimes they'd wait, and I'd lurk around in my dream, and then they'd jump out. I waited. I welcomed it. And sure enough, when the one did, instead of shying away and looking at it with the lens of fear and panic and terror, I looked at it with more like a let's see what this thing's all about. And as I looked closely, I realized it was not all that scary. It was kind of gumpy looking. It looked, so in a sense, pathetic. And I looked at it, and I started running after it, and it ran out and it jumped out my bedroom window. And from that point forward, for one, I wasn't afraid. But two, after that thing was gone, I had realized that you're still dreaming. You're in a lucid dream. And I flew away. I don't know if you guys lucid dream, but you can fly in your lucid dreams, and it's quite awesome. It's a very fun feeling. So that's the opportunity. If you're having sleep paralysis, it means you're conscious enough as a human being to where you're staying awake in the dream state, which is a phenomenal thing. And if you can just stand up to your fears for a little bit there, you can go play around in the dream state. It can get pretty cool, man. You can develop quite a lot of mastery over the lucid dreams. For a while, I would have them beyond this, like what I just mentioned, and I would I was unable to stay conscious. I was unable to like stay in them very long. But I got better. I read up online and watched some videos, and now when I have a lucid dream, I can control it. Usually what I do is I close my eyes and I imagine myself in Hawaii, and I open them, and then there's the beach, and I go and I walk around the beach, and it's just a beautiful, amazing experience. But it all started out with that freaky ass sleep paralysis cycle I went through. And I believe if more people realize that it's not a bad thing, that in a sense it's initially experienced in that negative sort of panicky way because we do harbor a lot of fears, but the fact that you get to see them reflected in such an obvious and obnoxious way in your dream state, it's an opportunity to really transcend a lot of your inner fears. And then the blessing is not only do you get to go through life with less fear, but you get to really develop a lot of fun dream mastery. So sleep paralysis is, in my opinion, in my experience, an opportunity to become much more grounded in who you really are, unburdened by your fears. But if you just want to wake up and you don't care about anything of what I just said, wiggle your pinky toe. You'll wiggle it. Remember this, because you're awake when this happens, right? Remember, someone on YouTube said wiggle your pinky toe. If you just focus on wiggling your pinky toe, you will climb quickly through the dream layers and wake yourself up if you don't want to do any of the things I just said. But I recommend next time you wake up and you're having a sleep paralysis experience, just remember your own power, remember what I said, and stand up to those pricks who are messing with you, and then go have fun. So that's my take. I wanted to kind of make this video again because I saw so many fear-based types of takes on it, sort of playing on people's fears, but it's not like that. I think if people had more of an education about some of these different types of spiritual or consciousness experiences that happen sparsely to the point where it's not very much talked about, yet does happen often enough to where there are a fairly good amount of people who go through it. I think if there was more information out there that sort of expressed that it's not a bad thing, it's actually kind of a nice little rite of passage into the journey of you becoming a more conscious human being. So that's my take on it. Hopefully this helps you, girl. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Namaste.